Hello, welcome to Walk of Shame podcast with me, Eleanor Conway. I'm really excited to welcome Amy Dresner to the podcast this time. She's amazing. We've never met. She lives in Los Angeles, and she kindly spoke on Skype with me for a bunch of time, and she was talking about her book, My Fair Junkie. It's an addiction memoir with a difference, I think. It's a memoir of getting dirty and staying clean. And it's gritty, man. It's gritty. It's like, you know how you get those memoirs and you hear, like, especially women's story, and it was like, oh, and I was a little bit bad, but then I was good again. This is like, I was bad. I was really fucking bad. I was a fucking cunt, you know, and then I saw the light and I got clean, and this is where I'm at, and it's still a struggle. Like, there's no holds barred. She has been a meth head, a sex addict, an alcoholic. She's been in rehab 6 or 7 times. She's been charged with like domestic abuse charges. I'm not sure of the legal terminology. And you know, it was a real struggle for her to get clean. There's a real crux moment in the podcast where she talks about what finally made her get it and instigate change. And I think her story it's not roses, it's not pink and fluffy and cute, it's jaggedy, harsh, gritty. It's uncomfortable in places, but it's really fucking funny. You know, as women, we never really get to, but there's always quite a lot of like shame about being honest about the sort of seediness that we go to, and really the truth will set you free. So her being honest allows everybody else to be honest and actually go, oh, actually, you know, I get to control how I feel about this situation by just telling you, and you hope that someone else gets identification with it, and that I can identify a lot with that through doing my show Walk of Shame and talking about my journey. And I just feel like she's amazing, you know. I'd really like it if you could subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, follow me on those, and on iTunes leave a lovely review. I'd really appreciate that. But for now on, you know, for now, I think we should probably just, you know, do the thing. Let's do the podcast. Everybody, Amy Dresner. I was trying to think about how I know you, and I think I stalked you on the internet. Is that right?
Did you really?
I'm not sure.
I don't know how the fuck we met.
I mean, we've never...
You wanted... I did a piece on you. That's how it started.
That's it,
I think
yeah.
You reached out and you were like, hey, bitch, I want to be in the fix. Like, I'm doing this thing. And I was like, okay.
That's it. Yeah. Because you write for the fix.
You're one of the few people that have broken through. Believe me, other people are like, I wanted it. And I'm like, next.
Oh, really?
And I've also got, like, new stalkers, like, that have become friends. Like, this lesbian from Portland, like, fucking just obsessed, stalked me, and like, I don't know, she was so charming and funny that I like let her in. She like got into the friend zone, and like now she's like one of my best friends. It's like,
I love that.
I mean, that's the best part about the book, has been like connecting with people, for sure.
Okay,
you know
and
what I mean?
The book is this is My Fair Junkie, a memoir of getting dirty and staying clean by Amy Dresner. So how's it been how's it been going? Because it's like, it's just such a good book, man. It's so like, just, you are so honest on it. Like, I think one of the best things is you are really funny in it, and you are really honest. And I think for women, there's a lot of shame about like sitting in the seediness of being a human as a woman. And like, absolutely. And we kind of go, oh, I did, you know, it's all that sort of coquettish.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as you move through like recovery, we're both in recovery, then you kind of go, you tell someone all your dark, dirty secrets, and you're like, I'm a disgusting human. And your sponsor usually goes, oh, is that it? And you're like,
right,
oh, right,
totally.
I've been carrying all this shame around. So like, I just think, what's been the most shocking thing that people have kind of been shocked about, like, in this book? And what's your perspective on that?
I don't read the comments. I don't read the reviews. You know, most of the people that read, you know, because it's like, that's just a mind fuck. I'm too sensitive. Like, the people who the book connects with will reach out to me and say good stuff. I've gotten one negative message where someone just said, you come from a privileged background and everyone's going to resent the shit out of you. I just want to let you know most addicts die in prison or, on the streets and no one's going to relate. And I was like, hi. Like, I shouldn't have even, interacted with this person. But I was like, that's been the opposite of my fucking experience. And I said, and if it's any consolation, I lost fucking everything. And I can't be punished for having grown up with money. And I have no money now. And it's like, I don't think addiction discriminates. And the people that I know that die are the really rich people because there's no bottom. There's no fucking bottom. You never hit a fucking bottom because your parents keep bailing you out and they keep supporting you with fucking money and blah, blah. But it was like, no, everyone has identified with the feelings. I don't know what people have found shocking because no one has. People who have written to me have just been like, fucking thank you. Thank you for like making me feel less broken and less alone and letting me laugh about stuff that I was totally ashamed of and for keeping it real. You know what I mean? Like, I just really feel like if you're trying to look good in an addiction memoir, you're just not being honest enough. Like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, really? Like, come on. But, and my goal was, I'm really an honest person, but my goal was to like kind of just free fucking people up and let them know that they were not alone and that there was hope. Like, no matter how many times you fucking relapse, like if you're alive, you can still fucking get your shit together. So I just, really, but it's, being a female perpetrator of domestic violence. Yay. Put that on my fucking dating profile. Hi, fucking sex addict, intravenous drug addict, fucking mentally ill. Like, it's to be all those things, as a woman is much more stigmatized than as a man.
So for those that are watching this or listening to this and they haven't read the book yet or they've not heard of Amy Dresner, can you tell me a bit of your backstory? So you grew up in Los Angeles. Is it Hollywood or Los Angeles?
Yeah, I grew up in like Beverly Hills, and I was the daughter. My dad was a screenwriter. My mom was a designer, and I was an only child. They divorced when I was 2. I have a lot of addiction and mental illness in my family, and I was sort of a good girl. I was like the goody two shoes. I was really afraid of drugs and sex and all that kind of stuff, and then everything sort of broke open at around 19 when I went to college, and I was like, oh, purity is not cool at all. I was like, I'm so pure, it's so great. And people were like, you've never fucked anybody or like done any drugs or drank? Like, weirdo. And I was like, oh, oops. And so, I started drinking, but it was college, you know what I mean? It was college in the fucking, late 80s. Early 90s, and it was like everyone was drinking and throwing up. It looked normal.
That's it.
So it's like, who gives a shit? It didn't look that different from anyone else's drinking. It's college, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's skipping classes and puking and fucking each other and whatever. So it wasn't really till later, till like in my 20s, that I found crystal meth and fucking woo, that was like the thing that clicked for me for real, and I was like off. Wow. And then that set me on, like a 20-year struggle with addiction where I ended up, abusing everything. I was shooting cocaine, oxy, all of it. And, 6 rehabs.
So like,
psych wards,
So like, what was it like? Oh, I think my laptop just pinged then. So what was it? So you're getting wasted at college, and I very much identify with that. Britain is very much the epicenter of binge drinking culture. I grew up in the 90s, where the rave culture was kicking off and ecstasy, and it was just this. You could be part of this gang, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be embraced by it, and it's so beautiful. I love you, yeah, we're going to be friends forever, like real pure Disney love. And I identify with that sort of like, wow, everyone's doing it, there's nothing wrong, blah 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 blah. So like, in terms of like, how did you move from? Was it just like what happened? What was the crossover point between that sort of like fun college type life and then sort of getting onto the like intravenous stuff and the meth and all that stuff?
Well, crystal is fun in the beginning and then quickly becomes very dark.
So you're doing that at college and stuff like that?
Huh?
Were you doing that at college with like your college mates?
No, I was 24. I was living in San Francisco. I was doing spoken word when it was really cool. And I'd never done any real hard drugs, and I did crystal, and I felt normal for the first time in my life. I just thought, fuck, this is the shit right here. This is Prozac with wings. I'm not fucking around with, and it just clicked for me. And of course, I find out later my mother was addicted to amphetamines when she was like a teenage model, and that my uncle's addicted to was a schizophrenic who had, was addicted to amphetamine. So it was like very much in my genetics.
It's in your DNA.
To fucking like cling on to speed. That was the one that went click for me, and I was like, I need this to be on the planet. Fuck,
Speed.
Booze made me very violent, and I would black out a lot, and it made me uber sexual, and it was kind of scary because I would never know what I would do. So,
but isn't that kind of half the fun? You just wake up and
I was a very sloppy drunk. I was really an asshole. So it's like, so the speed got really out of control very quickly. A guy ended up like living with gutter punks and skinheads in San Francisco and Lower Haight when it was like very much like a gnarly area just full of like alcoholics and projects and stuff like that. And it was like, I started running drugs for a dealer. I mean, I just totally embraced the lifestyle. And I had a huge habit from the get-go. And I got an infection, and then my parents found out that I was using speed, and they dragged me back to LA. And then it was like,
what was the attraction of speed? Because like I don't know, like I like it, like I love ecstasy and booze.
Ecstasy didn't even fucking work on me. Okay.
Oh really?
Yeah, my brain's so fucked up. I'm such a fucking Jewish depressive. It didn't even work. I was like, I don't understand what the big deal is. I mean, I think that stuff doesn't work if you're on antidepressants. I don't know, or maybe I just got bunk stuff. But I did it a couple times, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
What do you like about speed? The fact that because it's all like it's just about keeping up, isn't it? Staying up and.
Yeah, but it makes you high, and you feel confident, you have energy, and then like, you get to collage and refinish furniture and like pluck your eyebrows for 8 straight hours. And it's like, I don't know, man, it just clicked for me. And it was like, and in the beginning, it was like, I was still like performing and stuff like that. And then it became just like, my whole life was centered around speed. And especially when I got back to Los Angeles, I was like writing a book, which I can't even imagine. I mean, I dare not look at that book that I was writing while I was high on speed. I mean, I'm sure it's like, I can't even imagine. Oh my God.
I've made so many businesses when I've been high with strangers in toilets. Like, we're gonna do this, like writing it on the back of cigarette packets. Like, this is great.
Oh yeah, your ideas when you're high are fucking brilliant, and then when you're sober, you're like, what the fuck?
Who is this person?
My parents just kept throwing me into rehab, and what got me in my first rehab is that I had a seizure. I walked into a market and I woke up in an ambulance, and I had a seizure, and I was like, ooh. I'd been up for like 5 days, and they were like, did you do any drugs? And I was like, obviously some really shitty ones, because here I am, and they were like, okay, dick, like he had a fucking seizure. So that put me in my first of 6 or 7 rehabs.
Yeah.
I would get some time, and then I would, abuse something else. So once, I developed, I think I had 5 years clean, and I was living in Paris, and I started having grand mal seizures like that all the time.
What's that, sorry?
And I was living in Paris. I had 5 years clean, and I started having grand mal seizures like.
What's a grand mal seizure?
Like the kind of seizures where you fall over and you're shaking and you lose consciousness and you're like bite your tongue and you're the full seizure. Yeah. So I saw a neurologist, and it turns out I had hyperactive lesions on my frontal lobe. I'd basically given myself a seizure disorder permanent from crystal meth.
Fuck.
So I still have that today. So I'm on medication for that for the last 15 years.
So in terms of like when you were doing all the poet stuff, like, had you always wanted to be a performer? Was that
That was early on, yeah. And then I moved into stand-up, and I did that for 5 years. And then I tried to stab my ex, and I got arrested, and everything kind of.
It's just your average night out story with Amy Dresner.
So then I was kind of like, trying to, get sober, not go to prison, you know what I mean? Get through a divorce. I wasn't like, let's make sure we do a tight 10 at the Comedy Store. Like, comedy kind of just took a back seat to just like, shit, my life is on fire, And
how are you making money? How are you making money at those, like in those times? Because I'm guessing early days of stand-up, you're not making much cash.
At that point, I was being supported by my now ex-husband. I mean,
Oh.
you know, and then I got left penniless in a psych ward and got to start my life over at fucking 42 years old with nothing.
What were your where were your parents at that point? Like, where were they? Just
They were involved, but they were out of money and, out of it. They were just over it. They were fucking over it at that point. It had been 20 fucking years of me relapsing and it getting worse and worse and psych wards and suicide attempts and shooting coke in my neck and fucking, they were over it, man. And there was no more money really to help me anyway. And that was sort of the turning point for me. That's actually what really helped, was when people were just like, hey, it's up to you now, bitch. And I was like, no one was going to save me anymore. And, I had a brief, I had a fucking tantrum about it. And then I was like, okay, like, it's me. And it was like time to grow the fuck up. And, the chain gang really changed my life. I mean, like, it really did. It really did. Like, I don't know that that's the case for everyone, but like it humbled the fuck out of me. And like, when I showed up there, so I was given 240 hours of community labor, which was like sweeping the streets here and picking up trash and shit like that.
And was that after trying to stab your husband?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I had a year of domestic violence counseling, and it was just like, I was arrested for felony and fucking, it was just like, this is not from my background. My parents were just like, what the fuck,
And so hang on. Your parents are quite like sort of like in movies and TV. Are they going to like fancy?
My dad was. Yeah, my dad was like, this is so cliche. It can't even fucking be happening. He was just like, can't be real.
what
I mean?
Was he like going to like sort of like premiere type places, eating canapes, and everyone's like, "How's Amy?" And he's like,
"No, he'd been retired at that point. He was living in Ashland, and he was retired. Thank God, right? I mean, like." Fuck. And my mom, I think was, oh God. This was such a big span of time. My mom was like, doing stuff in India and weaving rugs, and like they would fly in and sort of throw me in rehab or, whatever. Like I'd have a seizure. It was just, I was such a mess. And so yeah, I got arrested. Fuck. And I go to jail for felony. It gets changed to a misdemeanor. But I remember the first day on the chain gang, and I'm just like, I'm like a Beverly Hills Jew, and I was like, oh my God, like these people are like all criminals. Like, oh my God, it's like me and like 40 Mexican guys, And
are you wearing the orange jumpsuit things?
No, it wasn't an orange jumpsuit. I had a tan shirt that said. A tan Dickie shirt that said clean team on the back. That's if you were on the sweeping crew. Yeah. Oh, I looked great in that. Fucking, that was really flattering. And then if we were doing painting, we had like a t-shirt that said like Hollywood beautification team, like whatever. Like there were always, it was brutal. So yeah, it was fucking, so.
Did they let you keep the t-shirt?
No, I wanted one so fucking bad, man. I know. It's like, but, I showed up and it was like, it was me and like 40 Mexican guys there. And they were like, what you here for, Weta, huh? I'm here for a DUI. And I was like, I'm here for felony domestic violence with a deadly weapon. They're like, oh shit, So it turned out like I was the only person there for like violent assault, and I had more time assigned to me by the courts than anybody else. So immediately I was like, oh, I'm the criminal. And that flipped it. And so, sweeping trash on the streets and syringes and condoms and human shit while nobody talks to you is pretty humbling.
Who the fuck is shitting on the side of the street, Amy?
Homeless people.
A good point. That's a very good point. I didn't think.
And they were the only ones who would talk to us. They were like, good morning. I know it sucks, but stay out of the pen. You know what I mean? And like other people, no, everyone else would ignore us. We were criminals, except for like some dumb shits who were like, oh my God, I love the environmentalism you're doing. Like, how do I become part of this? And I was like, oh, you just stab your ex. It's not that hard.
Did you genuinely have that conversation with people?
No.
Okay, but I would have liked, but that will
Shut
be that.
up.
No, but that will be in the movie. That'll be in the movie. That'll be in the movie.
They were just like, oh, I love your volunteerism. I was like, it's not volunteerism. It's court-ordered community. I have to be here. Yeah, it's like, I'm trying not to go to fucking prison.
So, like, you just kept bouncing in and out. Like,
yeah.
What?
And then, just like, that was sort of the beginning of this sobriety. I mean, the community labor, that really shifted. I had to lose everything to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in and out for years. I'd have years of sobriety, and then I'd relapse, and then, you know, I was like, well, hey, like, let's shoot up. We've never done that before. You know what I mean? Like, just like fucking brutal. Just didn't care.
It's like,
you know?
it's like that. Oh, we'll just drink wine today, or we'll just drink beer. It's that sort of,
You know?
put on a.
Oh God, I don't even think I even thought that way. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna be an addict for life. Like, I'm gonna die an addict. Like, I'm okay with that. I just embraced it. I really, at certain points, was just so hopeless. I was like, this is gonna be my life, and I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna get it. I mean, when you relapse for that long, you start to lose hope, which is why I wrote the book for people who have like chronically relapsed or trying to get sober later in life. It's like, it's never too late, man.
And so how has that thinking shifted? Now I think you're nearly 5 years sober, right? Is that right?
Six. I'm over 6 sober.
Oh, you're over 6, yeah. So how is that sort of like hopelessness, this is what I'm resigned to? How's that shifted from then until now? Do you still feel like, how do you feel about yourself at the moment? In terms of like...
I mean, you'll always, I still fight depression. I still fight insecurity. That stuff will always be there. Getting loaded is really not on the table for me. It's just like, I've tried it so many times, it's not the answer. And I really burn my life to the ground pretty quickly, and I use so hard, I end up in the ER like within days. So it's just not if I get depressed now, I smoke cigarettes. Yay, whatever, that's it. You know what I mean? I'm not like thrilled about it, but like, I'm okay with that, and I'm not even like sexually acting out anymore.
Well, that's
that was a big
good.
part,
I'd high five you if I was with you right now. That's very good.
You'd what? You'd high five me? High five.
High five.
Virtual high five.
So with the sexually acting out stuff, is that just recently that you've just started to be a bit more boundaried around that?
No, I mean, well, in the book you read where I hit a bottom with something that was just like really gnarly and humiliating and dehumanizing, and I just was like, that was a scene I did not want to write in a book because it's embarrassing, and it's like, and I just thought, oh, that makes me look like fucking wife material. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to fucking want to bring me home to meet their parents? Like that. And it was just really mortifying, that scene. And I didn't really understand why I didn't have a better boundary and say, no, I don't want to fucking do that. And I thought everyone has done something sexually that they didn't want to do. Yeah. Because they were loaded, or they didn't want to make the person mad, or they didn't want to seem like a prude, or whatever it was. You know what I mean? We've all done it. Whether you've gone to the extreme that I went to, with putting a black dildo up your ass for a fucking stranger while they're jacking off on Tinder, like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's different. No, I fell in love, and...
What I love about that story is there'll be someone listening who'll be like, oh my God, that's awful. And there'll be someone listening to go, like, there'll be someone going, oh, yeah, and?
Yeah, right, and whatever. Like, that's
the internet is a dark place.
Yeah. I think it was awful because the person didn't give a shit about me and literally jacked off and then hung up. And was really kind of like, I mean, I guess it was role play stuff, but I didn't really know the person and I wasn't really into it. I'm not really into like being humiliated. That's not my bag. It doesn't make me feel good. But I did stuff I didn't want to do. That's just not my bag, man. Just being like, be called like, you slut, you whore, do this, don't say no to me. Like, I'm like a little assertive for that. So I fell in love, and then, that I never sexually acted out again.
That's good.
It's really kind of all there is. I mean, that relationship's over, and I've been single for 2 years, but I have not gone back to that behavior.
That's really good.
But I am afraid of dating apps now.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm afraid to get back on any of them. I'm terrified of Tinder. Tinder brought me to my fucking knees. That was like eBay for cock. It was too easy. It was so gnarly. It was just like, and it's like a setup like a video game. Like, ding, you won. You know what I mean? And it's like the intrigue. It was like, I got so obsessed. It's like, I'm terrified to go on that stuff. And it's like, I really want a relationship and I want monogamy. And it's like, I loved being in love. I loved having a partner. I was really happy, and it's like, so sexually acting out now is just not a go-to. I have other tools, and I know where that leads me to. I mean, I would like, it was fucking addictive. I'd show up and I'd be like, well, this time it's going to be different. And I'm going to have fun and I'm free and blah, blah. And then I'd fucking go home just like crying, feeling like a total piece of shit, just feeling like a piece of meat, and like the person never calling me again. And I was just like, I can't do it. If other people can do it, more power to them. For me, that shit fucks me up. It spins me out emotionally, big time.
Do you know what? You're not the first person first female that I've spoken to about that. Tinder is it's like crack it's just like horrible. Like,
but it's set up that way, man.
Totally.
It's set up like a fucking video game. It's set up like a fucking
slot machine,
like a slot
ding,
machine.
ding.
Yeah, man. It's like dopamine. Ding.
Woohoo.
You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, someone new is interested in me. Like, this is exciting. And can you hear all the garbage? Should I close the window?
How hot
are you? Close
the window. Huh? Close the window. Okay. Yeah.
Now you can see I have sweatpants on.
At least
I'm not naked from the bottom.
Cute. You look so cute.
I'm not fucking naked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, imagine if I just had underwear on. Like, I was just like, oh, fuck it. It's from here up. Like, that was more humiliating and more addictive to me than drugs.
100%. Like, I was completely addicted to apps, all kinds of apps when I got sober. It's like it's like a funnel. You take away the drink, you take away the drugs, and it's this fucking pointy funnel, and you're like, give me it all. And then you end up feeling like shit, because when you're sober, you're sensitive, and you don't even know that. Yeah. And then
totally. But I mean, my whole sex addiction was in sobriety.
That's it.
You know, because I was like, I needed to get the fuck out of myself. I needed validation because I was coming out of a divorce. I needed to get high in some way, and I wanted out. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I'm terrified to get on those apps. I'm just like, oh, you know, even my other friends who didn't like end up in SLAW or SAA for that shit were just like, it's really addictive. Like, you can get really obsessed easily, you know? And it's like, I don't know about you, but I'm always like, this is the one, you know? And like I spin out and I'm like, you know, I can see the ring now, and like fucking go psycho, like, you know? And it's like, do you think
non-alcoholics are like that?
I don't know.
Because I have that conversation sometimes with like normals and also people in recovery. Yeah. But like, I don't know. Do I speak to normals, like non?
I know. See, I mean, like my whole life is like mostly surrounded by fucking alcoholics and addicts. So it's like, you know, I don't know. I just get, you know, so I don't touch that shit.
No, I don't touch that.
But you know, what I've learned, you know, is that it's all dopamine seeking. So it's not like you're switching addictions. You're addicted to fucking, you know, the spike of the dopamine. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't matter if it's a fucking Xanax or a donut or fucking cock. It doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? It's like your brain's like, you know, dopamine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and when you feel ashamed or less than, your dopamine drops, and then your brain's like, we need dopamine. Like, and it doesn't give a shit whether it's like a chocolate eclair or some fucking dude on Tinder or Coke or attention or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
100%.
So
100%.
it's like that's. So I think that really underneath it, and this is the stuff I'm getting into now, it's like how to balance your brain chemistry enough so that you're not, you know, you don't have low dopamine tone. And you're not fucking spiking and then crashing and spiking and crashing and all of that kind of stuff, you know? So
I feel like I love extremes. I like to be really amazing and the best thing, amazing, or really shit. I'm the worst thing in the world. Those are the two.
Well, that's total alcoholic shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So have you what tools are you developing to like sit? Cause like I feel like sometimes, what am I seeking? Am I seeking mediocre, like averageness? Because, you know, like I either seek amazing 12 out of 10, or like I am the pit of the world 0 out of 10. So really, I want to be around 5, which is like just average, isn't it? Just like not amazing. But not shit.
But I think it's just about maybe, you know, it's like, first of all, like I get so many people writing to me about the book and how much it's changed their life, and like people fangirl out if I write them back, which is so weird to me. Like, you know, oh my God, like, you know, you're a celebrity. I'm like, I'm not a fucking celebrity, weirdo. Like, I'm just an ex-junkie that wrote a book. But like the book is connected to people so much. And so when I write them back, and I guess a lot of authors don't do that, they fucking lose their minds. And it's like, you know, I had a girl drive 3 hours to interview me, and she was like, I can't believe I'm here with you. And I was like, oh my God, relax, dude. You know what I mean? Like, relax. So that's very weird. And people wanting my autograph and sending me their books to autograph. It's weird. I know. To me, it's very
love
weird.
it.
But like, I think that
But don't
as
you
my sponsor and as my dad explains it, it's like you've touched them, you've changed their life. Like it's not about you, it's about the message, and they want something concrete about it. So it's like, I really, it's so weird to me. I don't know if I even take it in. I'm not like, oh my God, yeah. I'm like, I just think it's bizarre. And so, and I kind of feel like I don't know, I don't want to get all like weird about it, but like maybe I was just like a vessel for fucking a message. You know what I mean?
Maybe
like,
you were Amy Dresner. Maybe you
know
were.
what I mean? Like I didn't know that the book would like be like your book fucking got me sober, changed my life. I'm like, oh my God, calm down. Like, it's like, so I don't really take credit for it because it just was easy. I just wrote the most honest memoir I fucking could. And it's like, I'm thrilled that it's changed people's lives. It's given me a feeling of purpose. It's given me a feeling like I've done something good in my life. I've taken 20 years of fucking self-destructive, selfish, horrible behavior, and I've made it into a tool that's helped other people. And that's created some self-esteem for me.
That's really good to hear though, and it should, like, I read it ages ago and I had a little kind of review today and I was like, oh, this is really fucking funny. I forgot how funny this is and how like honest, and just to hear another woman talk like that, talk as honestly and brazenly about all the scummy shit she's done is really great to hear, because we never hear that.
Yeah.
We never hear that.
Totally.
I think you mentioned previously, was there stuff that the author said to not include because it would...
I am the author.
I mean, sorry, the
I was like, bitch, what are you talking about?
The publisher...
Oh, you mean my ghostwriter? No, I wrote that.
Could you imagine? You're like, right, now you got to get Tracy, you got to go...
Yeah, hold on, let me call my ghostwriter. No, I wrote that whole fucking thing. Believe me, that was blood, sweat, and tears. I opened a vein on that page. You know that.
But like, didn't the publisher say that you couldn't put in some stuff? Was there someone that said... your editor or something?
Legal went through and they cut some stuff to protect us from lawsuits. So let's not dig around in that stuff.
Right, fine. We're not going to. We're moving on, mate. We're moving on.
They did also cut some stories that might end up in book 2.
Oh, so
just for narrative arc. That's their whole thing, narrative arc. So it's like, I don't know. Which is hard when you're a chronic relapse, or when it's like addiction, relapse, addiction. You know what I mean? When you're like, you get high and you get sober and you get high and you get sober. 20 years of that to create a narrative arc of something. So that's what publishers want.
Is there going to be a book 2 then? Do you think?
Yeah, I do.
You've probably got loads of stories, like loads, more than one book's worth.
Yeah, it's like I do, and it's like, but like. It also took me 20 years to write that fucking book. And it's like also, it took me some time to think of that stuff as funny. There's stuff going on now, like, my heartbreak is, with the guy that was the happy ending. That's still not that funny to me. Okay. That's still really fucking painful. And maybe the book doesn't have to be hysterical, but also like my mom has dementia. That's not that funny yet. You know what I mean? It takes some time and space. Like, you know how it is. Fucking tragedy plus time equals comedy. So it's like, I think also it's like, I don't want to write a book where people are like, oh my God, like fucking, how do you tie a noose? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, so many addiction memoirs can be depressing or just follow this normal thing. Like, she had a problem and then she fucking got sober and happy ending. And it's like, I don't really think that's it. Like, now I'm living my life 6 years sober, and it's like, life is fucking, it's fucking totally hard. I have depression, which I can't fucking, shoot up a bunch of fucking coke in my neck and feel better, or, smoke meth and feel better. I have to feel my feelings. I also, 20 years of addiction and fucking psych wards, I also don't really know how to live my life. I'm not an adult, really. It's sort of, it thwarted my emotional growth, like taxes. Like, I didn't pay my taxes for 7 fucking years. And then like I was like, I gotta handle this shit. And it's like, I'm a child in a lot of ways. People are like, they were like saying, well, when was the last time you rotated your tires? I'm like, what? Rotating your tire? Like, what the fuck? Like, nothing, never occurred to me. Never fucking occurred to me. And I make this joke all the time because I think it's so funny. It's like, I don't know how to do taxes. I don't know how to do a budget. I can't cook. but I do know how to make a crack bong out of a Mountain Dew bottle with gum and a fucking straw and cigarette ash, and like those are my life skill sets.
They're not really transferable skills though, are they?
Like it's different skill sets. Like you want to know how to hit a vein? Like that I can tell you. You want to know how to rock up fucking Coke in a microwave in a shitty hotel? Like that I can do.
You need to write another book because no one's going to employ you in their office. Could you imagine?
No.
Amy's gone to make a cup of tea. What will she come back with?
So
have you, like I totally feel you on the emotional like stunting. They like I think they do say that in it when you get sober when you start to like really get sober, then you are the mental age you were when you started getting wasted, right?
Yeah, that's what they say. I mean, I don't know. I just, I'm immature. That's for sure. And I'm emotional and I'm reactive and that's one of the reasons it's like I don't have it together. I don't have the answers, and it's like I don't want to be put on a pedestal as someone who, you know what I mean? Feel like you're such an inspiration. It's like, am I? Because I fucking stopped. You know what I mean? Like
I think you are though. I think you should take some of that.
That's weird. That's weird to. I just feel that's weird.
But it's love though. It's what they're saying is true.
I know. It's hard to take it in though. That's part of the thing. That's part of my own shit. Is like really taking that in and being like, oh my God, thank you. But it's also now it's like I can't fucking relapse. Like
but that's good. You have responsibility to everybody else, not to relapse.
I know, but it sucks. It's good.
But the thing is, you must be getting stuff now in your life that you wouldn't have been able to get before. So, for example, you've had success with a book. Is there what other good stuff has happened?
It's been optioned for TV development. It's in development for a TV series. Thank you. I can't talk much more about it, but that's super fucking exciting.
That is exciting.
It's incredible.
And believe me, right? They wouldn't have done that if it hadn't been like a really like dark, meaty story.
Oh, yeah.
I smoked some weed one day and then I gave up. It's not really going to cut it. You want the meat.
Yeah, I was a fucking fuck up and an asshole, but I was still funny. But like, it's meaty, and I would love the opportunity to, bring a female-driven fucking story about addiction to the TV or the movie, which is like what's going to be TV. But, that's real. That's not salacious. That's not fucking intervention. That's not like, you know what I mean? That shows how we really are, which is like incredibly smart, incredibly sensitive, kind of rock stars. We suck all the, air out of the room. Like we're really like when we can take all of that obsessive energy and channel it, we can accomplish amazing shit.
I agree.
Once we let go of the reins, we're fucked. You know what I mean? That thing takes us into in dark places and whatever. But that's happened. Speaking engagements, like I've been asked to go and speak. I spoke at She Recovers. I spoke in North Carolina. I spoke in Ohio. I might go speak in San Antonio. I'm speaking in Reno. And it's like, that's something that's come out of all of this, which is really exciting because I don't think there are a lot of female recovery speakers who really throw it down like that. And also to be funny, like I think it's important to fucking be funny. And maybe that's just a stand-up in me that'll never die. But it's like, I just think that's, people can digest stuff that's, easier and they can hear it easier. I mean, I don't know. If I was a young kid, I don't want to be like fucking someone like, lecturing to me. I just want someone telling their story and it being funny and like fucking telling me their truths, It's like, I learned a lot of shit. It's like,
Are you not doing stand-up? So you're not doing. What happened with the stand-up? Did you just not do it? It just fell off.
I was in treatment for 7 fucking months. Then I was in sober living for 2.5 years. It was just like I had to make a living. I had to do that community labor and not go to fucking prison. Like I was going through a divorce. It was just like life. And I didn't have the energy, and it was like I was really busy with my sex addiction. So it was like I'd rather meet someone at a hotel at 11 than go do a set, And I also wanted to change the way I viewed myself as like this crazy fuck up. I felt like I needed to recast myself if I was going to get my shit together in my life.
And so, like, but you have done that. You've written a very successful book. All that stuff's like motoring on in the background, I should imagine, and you're doing speaking bits and bobs and What have you not thought about going back and doing stand-up?
No, I don't miss it.
You don't miss it. That's it.
Don't miss it. I don't miss it. I'm older now. I'm tired. I want to be in bed with Colonel Puff Puff at fucking 10 o'clock. Like, I don't want to fucking be in the clubs fucking grinding away. Like, I'd rather write. I really feel like I want to be funny, but I have like a fucking mission now to really like help people. It's like, and you're doing that, but it's like, I just don't. Yeah, I mean, I've done some storytelling and blah, blah, but one of the reasons I didn't enjoy stand-up was because I had such bad stage fright every fucking time. Like, I hated it. You know what I mean? And I hate the roller coaster. Like, when you crush it, you're like, fucking yeah! Yeah. You're like, oh my God, I'm the best, I'm the queen. And, like, you have a bad set and you want to fucking die and never do it again in your set for 3 days. You're like, I'm so horrified. And it's just like, I think you have to want it so bad. And it's like, and also I need money, man. I need to make money. And it's like that comedy, you don't make money in comedy till later when you're really fucking up. Like, you're probably making money on your fucking tour and stuff like that. I made a little money when I toured, but I just don't miss it.
There you go.
I'm getting validation and whatever through the book.
Yeah.
And it's like, now like it's the TV series and another book and it's like and speaking. And so it's like.
Sounds like life's pretty good for you, man. Like there's a lot of like value, like a lot of valuable, like.
Yeah. I mean, you don't make money off writing a book. I learned that the hard way. Like when I got my book deal, I was like, oh yeah, fucking come visit me in my Bel Air place with my Tesla, And I'm like still living in like some shitty 1-bedroom with my cat in like West Hollywood. I'm like, oh, that didn't, okay. You know what I mean? Like that was sort of a wake up call. But the best part has been, fuck money. I've had money before and lost it and I'll get money again. But like the best part has been connecting to other people and changing their lives. There's nothing that can fucking. Like, I never thought I'd give a fuck about that because I was so selfish, but it was like, I cry. I get messages and they make me cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like when I did the first, like Walk of Shame, You get those messages and you go, oh, like I've gone to my first meeting or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
Fucking lives. Like you have inspired people to get sober or freed them from shame. And it's like, that's intense shit. You know what I mean? So it's like.
And it's worth sort of like the embarrassment of me telling that story and being like, oh, is this oversharing?
Totally,
when people come back to you and say, when people come back to you and they say, oh, that was, that really touched me, and you're like, oh wow, okay, oh that's good, all right. Well.
Yeah, totally. Then it's worth it. It's worth it. Let us be the sacrificial lambs. Fuck it.
What I wrote some questions, but like loads of.
Well, hit me, bitch. Come on.
All right, okay. I'm trying to. Hang on. I was just like, oh yeah. What of the AA crew? Ooh. Like what? Oh yeah. What? Ooh, yeah. What? Because you do talk quite openly about like AA, rehab, sober living, all that business. What do the AA? Has anyone sort of been like, you're not supposed to talk about 12 steps?
Oh yeah, there was a celebrity who wouldn't blurb the book because I broke anonymity. I broke the 11th tradition of anonymity. Yeah, and I talked about AA. And I think, I think that, again, like I don't read the reviews. I don't read the comments. You can't. You'll fucking kill yourself.
Yeah, that's
the good ones will make you think that you're like the fucking queen, and the bad ones will make you never want to write again. But yeah, there was a celebrity who I asked to blurb the book who was at the time a friend of my ex-boyfriend, and he was like, she breaks anonymity, I can't do it. And I was like,
but there's loads of people that talk about like 12...
Excuse me, Russell Brand, you don't fucking like hello. You know what I mean? Like for real? Like,
just
so he's in AA. He wrote a fucking book like about the 12 steps. Like, please, bitch. Like, so I don't care. A lot of people haven't come after me. I mean, actually, one girl wrote to me and she was just like, wow, like you make AA seem kind of cool. Like, I thought it was a creepy Christian cult. Would you meet me at a fucking meeting? And I was like, yeah, I'll meet you at a meeting. And I met her at a meeting, and she got sober in AA. So anyone can saying that I'm bashing AA or breaking the anonymity, like, that got a bitch to a meeting and got her to sober.
Agree. I know.
I think anonymity is super stupid. I think it's very outdated. I never outed anyone else.
No.
I didn't out anyone else. I outed myself. I think at this point in time, you know, people, when you say you're in recovery, people assume you're probably in a 12-step thing. I think that I have the freedom to, as a recovery writer and as a memoir writer, to be out.
Yeah.
I understand that there are doctors who can't be out, that there's still a lot of stigma around it. And I respect that, and I don't out other people. But I also think that, you know, the whole thinking, I mean, that was in the 30s. It's 2019. I mean, you know, people go to meetings
free
in
porn
TV
on the
series.
yeah, exactly. There's porn.
I mean, it's all over. There's AA all over. People are going to meetings in fucking TV series and movies and intervention and celebrity. It's stupid. And it's like, you know, I mean, I think the thing is that they think, like, being part of AA is not what made the book successful.
No.
It had nothing to do with that. It was my journey. And it was like, I had to be honest about my problems with AA, which I've written about.
Yeah.
You know, with like the creepy, you know, the sexual predatory shit that goes on, the fucking, you know, the creepy Christian prayers. As a Jew, I'm like, no.
Oh, I never say the
different.
prayers. I'm always like, I never really kind of truly engage. I'm like,
the Lord's Prayer. I went to the Lord's Prayer. I'm like, no. I just stand there and hold hands. I won't say anything. Yeah. It's like, so, I mean, I think that, to be honest, talking about it makes people go, I think AA is cognitive behavioral therapy. That's what I think it is. It's acting yourself in a right action. That's it. Take out the fucking God stuff. You know, I don't believe that God removed my alcoholism. It's not, you know what I mean? He's got other shit to do than be like, you know what? Amy's really procrastinating a lot. I'm going to remove that character defect. Like, are you fucking kidding? And I think as an addict, that thinking is it's such addict thinking. Like, I'm going to lay back and someone's going to fix it for me. Like, no, bitch, you're going to fix it for yourself through repetitive action and contrary action and acting like the person you want to be. So it's like, you know, I mean, I think the thing is, like, if you say you're in AA and you relapse, then people think AA doesn't work. Well, guess what? AA works for 5% of the people. It doesn't work for everybody.
But
and
how
there's
do they
lots
know
of
that?
other ways to get sober.
How do they know that, though?
I mean, I think that's the percentage. I mean, there's no 100% fucking cure for alcohol, like none. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, even if I say I'm in AA and I relapse and people go, well, then it makes AA look like it doesn't work. It's like, hey, guess what? AA doesn't work for everybody, and it's not for everybody. And a lot of people relapse, and that's part of their fucking journey. And it's like, if I had cancer and then I had chemotherapy and I still died, would you fucking think that chemotherapy doesn't work? No, you would not. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid, and it's stigmatizing. And I think truly that you can't break the stigma of addiction without breaking the stigma of recovery. It's fucking stupid.
I think I first came to 12-step because of Russell Brand being honest about his recovery.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe I can go to some sexy meetings and pick up a rock star.
Whatever fucking gets you there. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think it's important to be open about it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Russell Brand, the sort of just for people that don't know, like the book, the recovery book, is based on. He's basically just rewritten the 12 steps.
Yeah, that got a friend of mine to a meeting. Got a friend of mine to a meeting.
Did it?
Yeah, I was like, you know, yeah, he, you know, I wish he blurred my fucking book. My God, he was like, but he was like, my friend. A lot of people have loved that book, and it's broken it down because they, you know. The big book and 12-step book are really old language. It's very archaic and very sort of patriarchal, and like it's all, you know what I mean? There's a to the wives, but there's not a to the husbands, and it's like very, I don't know, the language is, you know, some people love it, but I find it really like, you know, and it's like that book literally got my friend to go to a meeting.
That's great.
It shifted everything. So it's like, again, I think being out with it is the answer.
Like, have you sent a copy of your book to Russell Brand?
Yeah, I sent it to his production company and my publicist, and yeah. I mean, I have friends that know him, and
nothing.
You know. Oh. But if you know him, fucking do it.
No, I don't. No. I don't, unfortunately.
But
he's married now. He's a married man. But I would. Are there loads of like starfucker meetings in LA?
Oh yeah.
Do you have like a little? Is there like
there's meetings. Well, it's like, I mean, honestly, living in LA, like you just respect that there's people there, and you don't treat them like anything different. That's the usual thing.
I don't like it when there's someone famous in a meeting.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like it. I'm just like, oh, because it's like I have to get like sometimes I feel a bit like I get a bit like I just don't want it to make me share differently or just you know.
I don't give a shit. I mean, I grew up here, and my dad, you know what I mean. It's like I grew up on sets and stuff like that, and it's like I just treat them like normal people, and it's like I leave them alone, and like you know, it's like whatever. I don't give a shit. And it's like, I'm not going to meetings to, like, meet famous people. Like, but it does throw you when, like, all of a sudden someone famous walks in. You're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And then you're like, maybe he'll marry me and fix all my problems.
Maybe I could share so well. Maybe I could share so well that they'll be like, oh, my God, you sound really fucked. I want to fuck you. Like...
It's like, God, why didn't I wash my hair today? You know? It's just so common here, to be honest.
I guess so. What have you got coming up? What's happening? So you got the TV. What's going on? What are you filling your time with? Like, what do you? What's the?
I have an editing job. Which is not glamorous. I have an editing job. I've taken on coaching someone who's writing their memoir, which I didn't realize. Yeah, she reached out to me, and I was like, I don't want to fucking do that. And she just said, she didn't make me. She's paying me. Yeah, she's paying me, and she just said, you know, can you try it let's try it for a month. What do you think? I mean, she's in sales, so and I don't have the best boundaries. I'm not the best at saying no. So I said, you should be in sales. And she's like, I am. I was like, bitch. So she was like, let's try it for a month. And actually, it's been fun. And I'm actually pretty good at it. And it's helped her. And that's kind of cool. I'm still doing a lot of promotion for it. Like I had a podcast Tuesday, which was yesterday. Yeah, it's like I've got, you know, I'm writing a body brokering piece for The Fix.
A what?
Which is body brokering, patient brokering.
What's
Do you know about that?
No.
It's like rehabs, like basically paying people to relapse so that they can come and test dirty and start their insurance over at a new rehab. That's one part of it. Yeah.
What the fuck? So,
it's other addicts who get a kickback from a rehab who will be like, hey, if you fucking relapse, I'll give you money and you get to go to this other place. Like, there's that. There's rehabs, you know, flying kids from Kentucky and insuring them here in California and putting them in treatment. And then as soon as the insurance runs out, they're fucking out on the street. There's a whole collection. There's a whole, like, little group of homeless people in Costa Mesa. It's disgusting. And so I have 18 pages of notes on that I have to make into an article, and I want to just like, you know, so it's
sounds depressing, but it sounds like super interesting.
No, it's really important. A lot of people don't know that it became illegal in January, but it's still fucking happening. Please. You know, so it's like that's something I have to write about. I need to start the second book.
Yeah, you do. We need one.
No, I know. Everyone's like, what, another book? I loved it. Like, I was so sad when it ended. And so, you know, it'll start where the fucking first book stopped.
Yeah, because we want to know how you're managing reality and, like, what
happened to Bradley and what happened to this and what happened to that. And it's like a lot has changed. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think also, like, you think that it's all going to change. Like, you think, like, writing a book and like, your life's going to change, is going to fix everything. And it doesn't. I think you know that.
Yeah, because there's a suction, isn't there? You it's almost like all the substances leave and you stop fucking everybody, and then you become a bit more stabilized, but then you're like, oh, what do I do with this sort of terrain?
Yeah. And it's like, the fame can be weird. I'm sure you've experienced that.
Oh, not really, Amy, but... Nah, not really.
Well, it looks like it on the internet, so just shut up.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like, yeah, I mean, people are like, how did you feel when your book came out? And I said, I felt depressed. I mean, I felt like a postpartum depression. I'd been working on it for a year, and it took like another year of editing and legal stuff. And then when it finally came out, I was just like, I didn't know what to do with myself. And then it's been so much of writing a book is promotion. Oh my God, which I hate. Like, buy my book, here's a podcast, like talking about my book. And it's like, you have to do it because the publicists do it for a couple months and then it's all you. And it's uncomfortable. For me, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but be like, my book's awesome, read it. It's fucking, I hate that part.
I know, but if one thing alcoholics and addicts are is we're quite dogged and like quite obsessive.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, cool, fucking I'll do it, What else has been going on?
So hang on. So in terms of when you finally got sober, like, it's obviously you kind of you had the not community service, the chain gang thing, and you did that, and then were you going to meetings at the same time?
Oh yeah, I was in a sober living.
Oh, you were in a sober living, and then
2.5 years.
And then what felt different? What, like, when you, like, after a year of being sober the final time, like, what felt different? Because that sounds like it was that like around a year or sort of a little bit into your recovery is the point where you'd kind of relapse again.
I really kind of had an epiphany when I was sweeping the streets. I mean, I just was feeling really sorry for myself. I was a fucking 40-something-year-old divorcee, sweeping fucking shit on the streets, living in a sober living, sharing a room with like multiple different girls.
Oh.
And I was like, oh God, like, is this my life? On Medi-Cal disability, like just like cobbling together, like babysitting jobs and writing jobs. And
what's Medi-Cal disability? Just, I don't know what that is. What is that?
Like being on the, like, it's basically free medical care because you're so fucking poor and fucked up here.
Fuck. Okay.
So I've had so many suicide attempts. I'd had so many seizures that they were just like, okay. And I was so below the poverty line that they took me.
Fuck.
They kicked me off. When I got the book deal, they kicked me off. Also, they were like, well, you haven't had a seizure in 5 years, and you haven't tried to kill yourself in 5 years, and you just got a book deal, so bye. So now I have to pay for and it's like, it's like weird. You get punished for getting your shit together. But like when I was sweeping the streets, I literally remember I was like, poor me, blah, 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 you know what I mean? My life sucks and blah, blah, and fuck my ex. And, he left me with nothing and he didn't give me any alimony and this, that. And I went, wait a second. This could be the best thing that ever fucking happened to you, Amy. Or it could be the worst thing that ever happened to you. And you get to decide what this is. This is a crossroads. You think this happened to you by accident, bitch? Like, this is you. That you created all of this. And I thought, what if this is the shittiest thing, the best thing that ever happened to you in drag as the shittiest thing? What if there are lessons here that could completely transform me? And I just was like, okay, I'm going to make this the best thing that ever happened to me. And I just was like, I'm going to learn a work ethic. I'm going to learn teamwork. I'm going to get humble. I can sweep like a motherfucker now. Like, I was like, I'm going to finish what I fucking started for the first time in my fucking life, And I was like, I'm going to find fun in this because I had a lot of time. Like, other people would be like, hey, how much time you got? I'm like, 240 hours. Like, would you fucking rob a bank? Jesus Christ. Like, I had more time than anyone else. So I was like, you better find the fun in this or you're never going to finish it and you're going to just be miserable. And so I just decided to embrace it, and I had no idea I was going to write a book at that point. I just thought, okay, like, I'm going to decide this is the best fucking thing that ever happened to me, and that this is meant to be, and good things are going to come out of this, and I'm going to fucking put my whole heart in this, and I'm not going to resent it, and I'm going to take responsibility for my actions, and that fucking shifted everything.
So that's like a little bit of gratitude, isn't it? That look like it's sort of like mini, sort of like glasses half full instead of half empty vibe, like mental change.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why, and when you open the book, there's that Will Rogers quote, and he's like, the worst thing that happens to you can be the best thing for you if you don't let it get the best of you. And
Whoa, that's so good.
Right? I was like, okay, bitch, okay. And I was like everyone else on the chain gang was like hiding, that they were on it. They were like, I'll be your Facebook friend, but like, just don't ever like tag me on anything on the chain gang because people think I'm on a business trip. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? It was so weird. Like there was a lawyer. She wore a hat, sunglasses, and like a bandana around her face. I'm like, bitch, no one's going to see you. But we were on main streets. And it's like, I didn't care. I just was like, fuck it. And I was posting on Facebook every day. I was like, another day on the chain gang. And I would talk about stuff I fucking learned. I would take pictures of shit on the street. You know, I didn't blow anyone's anonymity that was on the chain gang, but it was like, people were fucking dying. They were like, these are the best posts you've ever had. And they were bummed when I finished. They were like, get arrested again. That was amazing. That's when my editor was like, that's the base of your book. And I was like, oh.
And so was that first time you'd ever been honest in that way about the sort of like a situation you got yourself into in terms of like publicly?
No, I've always been honest about it. I've always been super confessional. All my early fix pieces are super, super honest and confessional.
Where's that come from?
That's just me. Brain damage, no filter, I don't know. Stupidity. I don't know. I've always been like that. I've always been no filter. I don't know how to like tweak it so it looks good. I just vomit the truth. I've always sort of been like that. I think too, for me, and I've talked about this, when I feel ashamed about something, I show everyone.
Yeah.
I talk about it. Because then there's no more shame. What's someone going to say? Oh, you fucking, tried to stab your ex. It's like, I wrote a book about it, bitch. Like, what else you got? You've owned it all. Yeah. No one has anything on you. So shame is like when it's secret and you're hiding it. But once you fucking own it and there's like, it takes the power out of it.
And I think sometimes, I don't know, like, I think sometimes with women, we hold on to the shame. And then when someone outs us, we feel the shame, but actually it's only because we feel shameful about it in the first place. If we just go, oh, this happened, as you said, just own it, then we just own the narrative.
Don't you find that there's freedom in you talking about that shit?
100%. 100%. No one ever can out me. No one can ever be like, oh, right. you did this, you did that. It's like, yeah, I know. Exactly. And people find identification. You know that's one of the things of being in meetings. Is that even your worst situation, someone will come up to you after a meeting and be like, thank you for sharing that. I relate. Absolutely. And it will be the stuff that is the most disgusting thing that you could ever think of. And you'd be like, okay. Like everybody in recovery has either pissed or shit the bed. That's my experience.
I never shit the bed.
But you pissed it.
No, I didn't.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, my God, you're my first. Well done.
But I've done other horrific shit. I mean, I fucking shot coke with a fucking bike helmet on so I wouldn't crack my head open. Like,
that's just safe, baby. That's safe.
I met my cocaine dealer at Cedars-Sinai. I had to have a fucking procedure, and I met him there, and I did lines of blow in the cancer bathroom. You want to feel like a total piece of shit? Where it's like, if you're having chemotherapy, flush twice. And then I'm like, people are like fighting for their lives. And I'm like, I felt like such an asshole.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. I took coke on a plane with me in my fucking coochie. And I did a line on the airplane. And I had an instant seizure. I came to on the floor of the fucking bathroom. Yeah.
Those bathrooms are tiny. That's an accomplishment, mate.
Yeah, I know. I came to and I was like, what the fuck? And I bit my tongue, and I was like, I just had a fucking seizure. I was like, oh, fuck.
Were you still high?
I don't even remember. I didn't realize that the altitude, I guess, makes you more fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never really been a plane drinker and stuff like that. Like, I was never, like, someone who was, like, a social partier. I was, like, a lone partier. That's, like, how I knew I was a full addict and alcoholic. I wasn't, like, I want to go to, like, out to the clubs. And I was like, I just want to fucking get loaded by myself and listen to depressing music. And maybe fuck somebody. Like, that was sort of my party. Party of one. It was gnarly.
That was mine towards the end, I think. Just because I know
that's mostly mine. That's mostly people's at the end. But, like, you were talking about raves. Oh, my God, I hated raves. And it was like, but I used to sell crystal to raver kids. I hate it. I'm still afraid of, like, big crowds and shit. I hate that shit. And it's like, no one knows that because I seem like such an extrovert when I speak. But like, I just speak at a meeting, it was like 300 people. I was fucking terrified. And so, of course, my stupid brain was like, okay, you're terrified. I'm going to embarrass you and break the ice. And so they called my name. I was one of 4 speakers. It was a huge meeting where people wear ties and shit. I was like, oh God, kill me. They're going to hate me. I swear so much. This is going to be awful. And they were like, Amy Dresner. And I was like, I got up like a fucking boxer, like jumping into the ring and like fucking like danced up there and was like, yeah! And it was like people fucking lost their minds laughing. And that was, you know, I'd cracked the ice. But it was like, why I did that, I could never tell you. Like, I'm like, so I do something and I'm like, oh, I just did that. Or I say something and I'm like, oops.
You're brilliant. Is there any, like, hang on, so I'm just having a look. So, flipping heck. I think that's pretty much it. So, like, oh yeah, I think I wanted to ask you about sex and intimacy, but like, are you totally off the old dick at the moment? Is that, you're totally...
Yeah, I mean, I am. I've been celibate for like 2 years, and it's like... I mean, I guess you could be like, you're sexually anorexic if you're like looking at the like SLA or SAA thing. I mean, the way that I look at it is like, I mean, I got my heart shattered.
Yeah.
And so I'm hesitant to get hurt again, number one. Number two, casual sex just spins me out. So I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing about sobriety. It's taken away one of my superpowers. Like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I can't. So I really am looking for like a relationship. And it's like, also, I'm not afraid to be by myself now. And I really heed red flags now. Before, I used to see a red flag and be like, whatever. Like, let's make a cushion out of it. You know what I mean? Like, my fucking magical pussy will change their mind. And like, now I don't. Now I literally, like, I see a red flag or someone's like, yeah, I'm not really in relationships or I'm, you know, da-da-da. And I'm like, fucking out. You know what I mean? Like, I really, really am careful about that. So, I mean,
I think that's really good, though.
Someone.
I think that's really good, though. Maybe it's just
not right for you. Am I going to marry my cat? I don't know. And it's like, what's happening? It's like, at what point is it good? And what point is it like, you know, I'm like, oh, it's me. You know, have you seen how many cat pictures are on my Instagram?
I fucking love it.
Now he has his own sweatshirt line. Like, he's like famous. It's weird.
He's earning more money than you, Amy.
I know. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. I made a joke. Someone was like, it's exhausting being a celebrity. I was like, oh, yeah, Lady Gaga called him. Lady Gaga called to Colonel Puff Puff and was like, let me give you some advice on handling all that fame.
Oh, he's gorgeous, though. So you...
And also, where do you meet people? When you write from home and you go to meetings, where the fuck do you meet people? And I don't want to go on dating apps. Where are you going to meet people?
There should be like a 12-step dating app.
Are
there?
There are. Yeah, but it's like, I'm going to know all those fuckers or I'm going to fuck them all or whatever. Like, I did the rounds.
Oh, did you?
You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's like, I'm scared of the apps because I'll just check it all the time. I'll be so compulsive.
The apps are a no-go. Like,
you know what I mean? I can't. So it's like, I just got to meet someone through life or maybe like the series or like an event or friends. It's like, which is like weird. So you just have to like kind of have faith that that's going to happen. I mean, there's times where I'm like, oh, it's cool, it'll happen. And other times I'm like, I'm going to die alone. You know, it's like.
But maybe it's a case, I think women are like, we are conditioned to like sort of maybe like romanticize like kind of go when we, you know, there's a bit, we have this, I don't know, for me personally, there's maybe like we kind of have this, I think women are taught to romanticize relationships and like we need that.
Totally, of course.
But I think maybe it's a case of just shifting to the idea that actually it doesn't, maybe I will die alone. And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? And then maybe when you're in that place, then maybe something will happen.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's like, honestly, I've had less suitors since the book came out. And I don't know if it's because I'm older or because I talked about sex addiction or whatever. I think, honestly, that they are, it looks like on the internet like I'm super rich and successful, and I think they're intimidated by that.
Yeah, but you just haven't met the right. I just think someone that meets you and doesn't know about the book or like your nutty past and just meets you in like 2019 day-to-day life, that's gonna be the entry point, isn't it, into something?
Yeah, and I'm cool with, someone who's read the book. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird, like, when I was like, I read your book and I like,
yeah, that is weird.
It is like, then I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? You've like read about like everyone who's been inside me and like all the fucked up shit I did. And like, that's like, it's like, I don't know, but that's how I met my last boyfriend. He fucking read my writing and fucking like totally was like, you're it. And I was like, what? So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of letting that go. It's like my sponsor was like, do not get on dating apps.
No,
and I was like,
agree.
I should really be writing. It can be a real time suck.
What, dating
so
apps?
I just feel like, fuck yeah. And it's like, I should be writing the second book. I should be writing the body broker piece. You know what I mean? If the series moves forward, I'm going to be super busy. Like, I just, it's like, I'll meet someone, I think also when you're looking and you want it, like that energy is weird. When you're like, I don't, whatever, that's when everyone says you meet someone.
No, 100%. I totally agree with that. So, we covered quite a lot, didn't we? Like, I think I wanted to ask more about the path, like changing your path so we talked about the chain gang, changing your path, and then, and it felt, did we cover like why this time it was different?
Yeah, I mean, I lost everything. I mean, I really I burnt it to the ground. And it's like, I know there are people, I know there's another bottom. There's always another bottom. Yeah. But it took me years to fucking rebuild my life. And I think that I switched from feeling sorry for myself and being a victim to taking responsibility and feeling gratitude. Yeah. And I also built a life that I don't want to destroy now. I built the life. No one handed it to me. Before that, my parents had given me everything, or my ex had given me, and I hadn't done really anything on my own. And this was something that I did and created on my own. And it created some self-esteem that I had never had before. You know what I mean? And it's given me a purpose. And I don't think I had a purpose before. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just didn't want to be in pain. Just wanted to be happy. And it's like, so, I mean, I have sponsees. I go to meetings. I work out now. I think that I've relapsed so many times. I know the answer's not there.
No, it's the same.
Or worse. And it's like, whether I would even survive a relapse or, you know what I mean? Or the cost, I'd have to get sober again. You can't you can't be functional while you're smoking meth and shooting cocaine. Like you're not. I was never functional. I was like, I couldn't even leave my house or take a shower. So I'm not someone who's ever been functional while they've been using. So it's just not an option. Like, when my ex broke up with me, I really wanted to use. I was in so much pain. And my sponsor was just like, he's not at the bottom of a bottle, honey.
Yeah.
He's not at the fucking end of a fucking needle, honey. Like, there's nothing that fucking using's not going to make worse. And I think I've learned to sit with my feelings now and learn that they're not going to kill me and that they pass. Before, I'd have these horrible feelings, and I was like, I gotta use, I gotta get out, whatever it was, sex or you're using or whatever. And now I'm like, okay, we're really uncomfortable, we're really sad, we're really whatever, and I'll fucking take a nap, man. I'll take a bath, I'll go, this feeling sucks, and, it's gonna fucking pass, Amy, and you don't have to take any action on it.
I find that quite difficult. If I have that feeling and I feel like, oh, I need to change it. It's like sometimes you just got to sit with it and just allow it to be shitty.
It's super hard.
Yeah, it's really difficult, especially when you can get drunk and you'll forget about feeling shitty.
Well, I smoke cigarettes. That's what I do when I get depressed. I smoke cigarettes that give me a headache and it makes me stink and whatever. But it's like, sorry, I'm not on cocaine. I feel like there's something weird in my nose. So I'm like the whole time I'm thinking, do I have a booger in my nose? So that's what's happening.
No, not at all.
But yeah, it's very hard to sit with it. And and I kind of stopped meditating and it's just like, ugh.
Oh, so. I know everyone's like, oh, you should meditate. Do you pray? Are you a prayer? Do you do that part of the program?
No, I'm sort of like a foxhole prayer person. Like when shit's really falling apart, I'm like, God, Yeah, fucking, oh my God, get me out, fucking change this. Like, but in general, I'm like, I got it, man. It's like, you know, um,
But
yeah, I've also noticed too, I think the thing I've noticed in this sobriety is like, the more grateful I am, the more good things come to me. It's
isn't
like,
that
I don't want to
weird?
get I don't want to get all fucking creepy metaphysical on shit. Like, but
Yeah.
it's like, more I'm like happy and grateful, like more, oh, the universe is like, oh, cool, you're happy and grateful. Like, here's more good stuff. Like, the more I'm like, my life sucks and poor me and they did it. The universe is like, oh, your life sucks? Okay. Like, it's like kind of a mirror,
Do you think
I
that's
mean,
God
magical
though?
stuff is happen. Huh?
Do you think that's God? Because like someone in AA,
Yes, the universe. Well, I call God the universe.
because
I mean,
that's what a big book bash would be like that's God. And you'd be like, oh, okay.
I know that word makes me a little bit.
Blech.
I know it creeps me out a little bit. So it's like, has magic happened in sobriety? Fuck yeah! Oh my God, getting a book published and a TV you know what I mean? Like touching people in that way. Like it's magic. You know what I mean? It's fucking magic.
How did the book deal come about? By the way, I forgot to ask. That was one of the things.
So Amber Tozer, who wrote Sober Stick Figure, who is a sober comic, it was a friend of mine, and she got this book deal, I heard. And I said to her, I had tried to get a book deal before, and I had been unsuccessful. And again, it's very sort of like who you know. Like, it's, I mean, agents are like, just they've got people emailing them shit all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you have someone who goes, hey, this is my friend, take a look at this, it helps. Since then I have sent a lot of my friends to my agent, and he has not accepted any of their work. And I go, what the fuck? And he goes, it just shows how special you are. I'm like, okay.
Oh.
But I at least try. I at least try to open the door for them and offer to, send the proposal in and introduce them. But because I think because Amber did that for me. So Amber, I said, would you send some of my articles from the Fix to your agent and see if he's interested, if he likes my writing style? And she did. And my agent freaked out and was like, oh my God, I fucking love your writing style. Like, let's have a phone call and discuss a book and blah, blah. And so I pitched him my book idea, and he was like, great, write it. And so I wrote it. I wrote like 80 pages, and then he was like, whoa, slow it down, girl. Because I've been used to writing editorial, which is like 1,800 words. And he was like, make it more novelistic, bring characters back in. Like, it's not just like you, which is so alcoholic, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is my narrative. And when you're important, I bring you in, and I throw you away. We never see you or hear again. So I had to learn how to, that other characters were important to me and would come in. No, yeah. And so he wanted me to flesh it out. So I fleshed it out to like 130 pages. And he was like, great, write the proposal, which is like the worst thing in the entire world, which is like why, like having testimonials from famous people, why your book will sell, why it's important about you, your fucking platform, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's a nightmare. Every writer will tell you that. It's harder than writing the book. But that's how publishers judge whether.
Because you've got to big yourself up. You've got to big yourself up.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to sell yourself, and it's like, I mean, they really care about your platform. That's what's fucked up. Publishers seem to think that however many like Instagram or Twitter followers you have is going to equal your book sales, and I don't find that to be true. I know people have had way more followers than me and have not sold as well. And I know, you know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, I think it helps, but they want to feel like there's a built-in audience. Like, the more famous you are, the fucking more they're like, cool. Because they know the book will sell. If I was more famous, the book would have sold better. Like, a lot of people don't even know about it. And then it's been a slow burn, people talking about it with rooms and rehabs and passing it along and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
But that will grow. I think that will grow. It's like a timeless book. Like, it will grow, and it's not just about the first year or two, is it? It's about...
Why do you think I'm fucking talking to you? No, it's like, I think it would do really well in the UK. I mean, I think the humor is very British. It's very dry and fucking, it's like, I mean, I don't know why I'm not in bookstores there. They can buy it on amazon.co.uk. But yeah, it's going to grow. And it's like, that's hard as an addict to be patient. You know what I mean? Because we feel like whatever's happening, this is what's going to happen forever.
Also, everything that's happening, you want something more.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
So you just got to be okay.
Like,
You've got to be.
This is gonna fix it. Yeah, you're like, this is gonna fix it, and then it doesn't, and then you're like, okay, this is gonna fix it.
It's going to be
And
like,
then,
I got this, but what's the next thing? I've got this, but what's the next thing? It's like,
yeah,
you got. I think
that's when you realize, it really comes from inside, which is like, ugh.
And that's it. Do you know what I mean? I think you've got to be really proud of yourself. You've come so far, and you've written such an amazing book.
Thank you.
Amy Dresner, My Fair Junkie, and memoir. And memoir of getting dirty and staying clean. Buy it online, people, if you like filthy females with honest voices. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thanks. It's really good to see you.
Yeah, it's really good to see you too.
I just want to say thank you so much to Amy. Like, she is just real. Like, you just get real, and I'm really chuffed for her. She's just such a good example of how, like, you can really change the course of your life, and it's never too late. And pain can bring identification and can really bring hope and help change someone else's experience for the better. And so, I really hope you've liked it, really. I think you should go and pick up her book, My Fair Junkie. It's available online. It's not available in UK bookstores yet, but we're working on that. It's My Fair Junkie, a memoir of getting dirty and staying clean. Oh, yeah. And also, could you follow her on all the socials? And me as well. Like, don't forget me. I'd massively appreciate some little subscribes on YouTube. They would be very helpful. And also some little comments and stars. Only if they're good, though. No, don't give me the shit ones. Not interested. On iTunes. And also I'm on Facebook. Like, I need more followers. And I'd like you to be one of them. But don't send me any weird dick pics unless I ask for them. And Instagram too. All the same. Brilliant. Look, I am going to be back soon with another episode. I thank you so much for listening or watching. But for the second episode of Walk of Shame podcast with me, Eleanor Conway, fell over my teeth then. Walk of Shame podcast with me, Eleanor Conway. That's it. See you later.